Welcome to my tutorial. Some of you have commented on my backgrounds lately, and I thought I would show you a hopefully quick tutorial on how I do it. I'm inspired greatly by Michelle Zindorf, whom I found online by chance about 5-6 years ago, and I just love her work. She does a lot with brayers, which I don't do because I don't get it. I get lines in it when I use one, so I don't use it, but I do try to emulate her using sponges. If you want to look at her work, you can go to zindorf.blogs.splitcoaststampers.com and you'll see lots of tutorials and examples of her work there. I'm not endorsing her, I just love what she does. Okay, I use sponges or daubers when I do my projects. And by the way, I guess I should show you what kind of background we're talking about here, so in case you're wondering. There's one example. There we go. I lost one for a minute there. There's another. And as I said, I use daubers or sponges. The daubers, I was trying to wash them for a while, and I think I was shortening their life by doing that. So now I just try to keep the color family the same on it so I don't mix up the colors too bad. When I'm done inking, I usually try to just get off as much as I can before I put it away. Always have paper underneath these projects because you'll have ink everywhere. I also have used these makeup sponges. Sometimes I cut them in half to make them go farther. And I always kind of bunch up the corners and the edges as much as I can before I start inking because you want a rounded surface, excuse me. The edges you don't want to touch the paper because they will leave little lines. Not too bad on this what we're going to do, but they will do a little bit. They are a cheaper alternative to the daubers though. So you want to use watercolor paper when you do these projects. And the reason is because when you use cardstock, you get lots of little lines and bumps, and not bumps so much, but lines and darker and lighter spots that you cannot blend in. They just don't blend. I don't know if you can see the color differences here or not, but this is watercolor paper and it blends very nicely. Same as on this tag that I just showed you and this other ATC I'm working on. The colors blend very well. Now there's not a lot of blending there because I left it that way on purpose. But if you use cardstock, this is what you'll get. Other thing is there are different kinds of watercolor papers, and this is a bumpier. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but let me show you here. This is the smoother, and this is the bumpier kind of cardstock. There, I think you can see that. The problem with the bumpier stuff is that you don't get very good coverage with your ink, and when you try to stamp on it, you don't get a real dark, clear image on it. I don't like this one, by the way. That's why I never made anything out of it. So, we start off with the watercolor paper. You can mask if you want to mask to make a, like the sun, or as in this one, I tore paper to make a mask for the mountains and things like that. And you can do water lines and all kinds of things that way. You can use yellow sticky notes. You can punch a shape out of a yellow sticky note on the sticky part of it and put it down on your paper so it doesn't move while you ink over it. Or you can purchase a kind of spendy little product here called stamping mask paper. This is made by Inkadinkado. There are other brands too. I really like it. It's expensive, but I don't use that much of it, so I don't mind. So I punched a little circle out of this piece, and I'm going to put it right here and just put it down really good. You want at least 3 colors of paper, or colors of ink, excuse me. I've got Daffodil Delight, Calypso Coral, and Regal Rose for this one. And you always want to start with the lightest color first. It's a little bit hard to tell here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to swap out the Regal Rose because I did that a while ago and it was a little bit too dark. So, starting with the lightest color first, I'm going to do the yellow. And I'm going to go around the sun. Hope you can all see this. Or the moon if you'd rather call it the moon. In this case, I think we're gonna say sun because it's like sunset. These are kind of sunset colors. And when you just want to ink and ink and ink and just keep moving your little dauber around, and you're gonna overlap your colors. You don't want a definitive line between them unless you're gonna do the masking like I showed you with the mountains or something like that. Maybe I'll do another tutorial another time on how to do that. So I'm gonna do it about halfway down. Now I'm going to swap out my yellow. I'm gonna start with my Pretty in Pink. I've switched it to Pretty in Pink here. And I'm gonna do that on the bottom. I'm gonna flip my paper around so it's a little easier to do. Same thing, I'm just gonna cover as much of the paper as I can on the bottom half. I'll probably go right up to the yellow. And see, like, you get lines like that on here, but with the sponges, with the watercolor paper and the sponges, you can just go right over them and they blend right in. You got a line here, you can get rid of it really easy, just really lightly with your dauber or your sponge. Doesn't matter right now because we're going to color that with Calypso Coral. So, switching over to that color, I'm going to turn it this way so I can figure out just exactly what I want to do here. And you don't have to have like even lines anywhere. You can make it look like anything you want. And I'm gonna kind of add some interest to it here. Just coloring very nicely. I'm gonna get some of the ink off of this because I don't want to put too much more color on, but I do want to blend it better up on these edges here. There we go. Then you have this lovely little, see, I got some lines in there, but all I have to do is that, and they're gone. Then, peel off your mask, and there's your sun. Then, taking a black ink or a, whatever color you want really, but you want something that's going to stand out. I'm going to use Memento Tuxedo Black right now because it's right here and handy, and I have it ready to use. And I'm gonna just make a little interest on here. And then, how this is gonna look. You never know until you're done, but I love doing these. This is where silhouette stamps come in handy. There, I think we need some birds up here, but I don't have any handy right now. So that's a very easy thing to do. Another thing you can do when you have a sunset like this, if you wait till your ink is dry, you can take a white gel pen and highlight where the sun is hitting the tops of the flowers or whatever you're doing your picture of. I hope this helps you. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.